March didn't ease into Genoa City quietly, it crashed in like a storm. The first tremor hit at society, where Sally Spectra stood too close to Billy Abbott for something that was supposed to be casual. The tension between them had been simmering for weeks, layered with unfinished conversations and bruised egos. Billy had been trying to hold himself together under the weight of business chaos, and Sally had been trying to pretend she wasn't still drawn to him. Then it happened. A kiss. Not cautious, not polite, it was impulsive, messy, real. For a split second, everything else disappeared. Newman Enterprises, Chancellor, Phillies, Victor, all of it faded into the background, but reality doesn't stay quiet in Genoa City for long. Because at that very moment, Victor Newman was executing a plan that would eclipse a stolen kiss in seconds. Jack Abbott vanished. Billy's phone rang before the night was over. The message was direct, cold, controlled. Victor had Jack. And if Billy wanted to see his brother alive again, he would hand Chancellor back by the end of the day. The ground shifted. Billy stormed into the Abbott mansion with fury written across his face. Diane Jenkins Abbott went pale as he delivered the news. Kyle froze, his mind racing through possibilities. This wasn't corporate warfare anymore, this was personal. Diane didn't hesitate, she went straight for Nicky Newman. "You tell your husband to fix this," Diane snapped, her composure hanging by a thread. "If Jack is harmed in any way." Nicky's eyes flashed. Victor would never hurt Jack. "Your husband just kidnapped him." That silence hit harder than a scream. Nicky confronted Victor that night. She demanded answers, she demanded restraint, but Victor stood firm. In his mind, this was strategy, this was reclaiming order. Chancellor belonged in Nicky's hands, not Billy's reckless grip. "You're escalating this too far," Nicky warned. Victor didn't blink. "I am correcting a mistake." Back at the Abbott house, Kyle decided to approach the situation differently. If Victor was playing emotional leverage, maybe emotional appeal could break through. He went to Claire Newman's. Claire had been trying to carve her own place in the Newman orbit, and Kyle knew Victor had a soft spot for family loyalty. If anyone could get through to him, maybe it was her. "Talk to him," Kyle urged, "not as a business figure, as family." Claire hesitated. Victor respected strength, not pleading, but she agreed to try. Meanwhile, in the shadows, Matt Clark watched everything unfold with quiet amusement. He sent a message to Nick Newman, a disturbing one, enough to rattle him. Nick and Sharon listened together. The tone was mocking. Matt knew Nick had tried to set a trap, and he made it clear that he wasn't the one being hunted. He was the one doing the hunting. Nick's jaw tightened, Sharon's hand trembled slightly though she kept her composure. Matt was taunting them, again. And this time it felt like he was closer than ever. Noah Newman and Sienna Bacall became unintended pressure points. Nick feared Matt would use them to strike deeper. The possibility hung in the air like a loaded weapon. Elsewhere, Kane Ashby made his own reckless move. Phyllis Summers had aligned herself in a dangerous power shuffle involving Chancellor and Newman Enterprises. Kane, furious and desperate, decided subtlety wasn't working. He staged a move bold enough to enrage her publicly, forcing her attention. Phyllis didn't respond quietly. By the end of the first week of March, Genoa City felt like a chessboard with every piece in motion. And Jack Abbott remained missing. Jack's captivity was not theatrical, it was calculated. He wasn't chained in a dungeon, he was confined somewhere quiet, controlled, isolated. Victor wasn't cruel, he was patient. Jack knew this wasn't about harm, it was about pressure. Victor was waiting for Billy to fold. Billy didn't fold. He paced, plotted, argued. Diane was terrified, Kyle was furious. The Abbotts debated surrendering Chancellor just to get Jack back, but none of them trusted Victor to stop there. Meanwhile, Devon Winters and Nate Hastings dug into a separate mystery. Lily Winters and the twins had been caught in a bizarre web of fake abductions tied to Victor's broader schemes. Devon didn't believe everything he was being told. Nate, torn between loyalty and logic, began noticing cracks. Victoria Newman had known more than she admitted. When that realization hit Nate, it wasn't just about business anymore, it was about trust. Their romantic reunion suddenly felt fragile. "Did you know?" Nate asked her quietly. Victoria didn't answer fast enough. And silence in that moment said everything. Across town, Christine Blair Romalotti prepared for another kind of battle. Mariah Copeland's trial was approaching. The Dominic Winters abduction case had fractured families and blurred moral lines. Christine believed Mariah needed help, not prison, mental health treatment, not punishment. But courtrooms are not built on sympathy, they are built on evidence. Mariah sat quietly before the proceedings began, fear tucked behind forced calm. Tessa stood by her side. Sharon refused to let her daughter feel alone. By mid-March, the trial was in full swing. Arguments, witnesses, tension. Christine fought relentlessly to frame Mariah's actions through the lens of psychological trauma rather than criminal intent. Then came an unexpected development. Patty Williams returned to Genoa City. Her reappearance was quiet at first, a name on a hospital registry, a sighting in a mental health facility corridor. When Mariah was temporarily transferred for evaluation, she saw Patty. Recognition flickered. Patty smiled. The energy in that room shifted instantly. Patty had her own history of instability, obsession, blurred reality. Seeing her in that environment felt less like coincidence and more like omen. Back in the business world, Victor's grip tightened. Billy still refused to surrender Chancellor outright. Claire's appeal to Victor softened nothing. Nikki's warnings echoed, but Victor remained resolute. Then something changed. Matt Clark left a trails. It wasn't obvious, it was deliberate. Nick found it first, Adam Newman saw the pattern second. Las Vegas. A city of reinvention, of aliases, of buried pasts. Nick and Adam boarded a jet together, uneasy allies on a shared mission. Matt was drawing them somewhere, and neither man believed it was accidental. Vegas glittered beneath them as they landed. Back in Genoa City, the tension didn't ease. Jack was finally released, not broken, not bruised, but deeply aware that he had been used as leverage in a war that wasn't finished. Billy didn't know whether to feel victorious or manipulated. Diane watched Jack closely, searching for signs of what captivity had done to him. Nate confronted Victoria. Christine waited for a verdict. Mariah braced herself. Patty lingered. And in Las Vegas, Nick and Adam stepped into a trap they knew was waiting for them. March wasn't ending quietly. It was escalating. Because in Genoa City, peace is temporary and chaos always circles back.